Before we start today's broadcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to one of our sponsors here on iSports Radio. The Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. You can find them on social media at Twitter at SoCal Sports, on Instagram, Southern California _Warriors, and on Facebook, Southern California Warriors. Now, on to the show. Well, has the sports media unleashed a monster that they cannot contain in one Kwame Brown? We'll discuss his multiple videos on that. Plus, the playoffs has started. A lot of surprises, a lot of good games. And the first host of games over the weekend. We'll discuss all of that here on Fast Break on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all dad sports, and you're welcome to join us. And join us as you shall tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of things to hop into, lots of things to discuss. The playoffs going on. Y'all, folks has awakened Kwame Brown out of his slumber in South Georgia. So, a lot of things to discuss tonight on the show. But D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Just hanging out, checking out this Kwame information as it rolls on Twitter and starts to get a lot of people talking about it, therefore it's trending. So, yeah, man, Kwame definitely has woken up and started speaking. Yo, this is the first time I've ever heard him talk. You know that?
I may have heard him speak, and we'll talk about him later, but I think I probably heard him speak, when I had League Pass, and sometimes if they interview players, stuff like that after the game, the local, Spectrum, well, not Spectrum at the time, but, the Fox Sports affiliate at the time. And you hear him speak every once in a while, giving post-locker room interviews. But other than that, seeing him talk extensively like this, it's a sight to behold. But D-Lock, the playoffs are here. Saturday, we had a lot of action, a lot of close games. What were your initial thoughts of Saturday's matchups as they were played out? What were going through your mind? Like, who was your, key top players, coming out Saturday?
Saturday was one of those great. How can I put it? Great playoff days. It was very, very interesting. Luka is one person that really shows how big of an impact he makes with Dallas. It seemed like every time he was off the floor, the Mavs struggled a little bit, or they let the Clippers get back in. But then when he was on, it's like they took control of the game. Um, I'm gonna mention this person last. I want to talk about um, Giannis is who Giannis is. I think that he still have a struggle in shooting the ball that may hurt them later on down the series. To me, I felt like this Milwaukee and Miami series uh, took a turn. It felt like it was picking up from last year's series. This game, like it just seemed like it just automatically picked up from last year's series. So I think Giannis just he's gonna have to shoot better. Drew Holiday looked very good. You can see why they might have a better chance to win more with him than they did with Eric Bledsoe. So I definitely did notice that, but Giannis gonna have to play better. Another person I really just had to talk about, I think I tweeted about him yesterday, is Dame. Like, Dame cannot miss. Like, I mean, this guy was making literally everything with pressure in front of him, whatever. He still was literally making buckets. So, for me, Trailblazers could be problems. Obviously, Jamal Murray's not playing. But the fact that Dame is making everything is going to cause problems for Denver. And Carmelo came alive, obviously, against his former team as well. So it's going to be very interesting, man. And also, I had to throw in, obviously, Jokic. Jokic look amazing, but the fact that Dame basically took over that game when he wanted to played a huge part.
Yeah, for Saturday's matchups, I thought, you mentioned the Milwaukee Heat series. I think Milwaukee has revenge on their mind for the way, how that series went, in the bubble last year. I think they didn't really expect for them to go out like they did. And then plus on top of that, Giannis getting hurt in that series too. That kind of just put the nail in the coffin. Like we discussed in the last year, put the nail in the coffin in that series for the Bucks. But we talked about last year about Middleton stepping up in the bubble. Like, yeah, Giannis doing all the work, but we need something out of you, dog. And go back to yesterday, hit the game-winning shot over Duncan Robinson. I was like, damn, there you go, man. What a way to kind of somewhat redeem yourself. And you mentioned Drew Holiday. Played great, 20 points, 11 rebounds. But I think, his defensive play towards the end of that game kind of, at key moments, kind of helped propel that team. Granted, Miami's making shots. Dragic, Jimmy Butler, hitting key shots, especially Jimmy Butler at the end, which I thought, I thought that ball was going to come out at the end when he made that layup over Giannis, or went past Giannis to make that layup. But, credit to the Bucks staying with it, And your big three scored 20 points, 20 points or above, and that's key for them if they're gonna win this series. Let me ask you something about Miami real quick. When they needed shooters out there in the last few positions, why wasn't Tyler Hero out on there? I don't know if you knew that. Watched it. I was like, okay, where was Tyler? Okay, you got Robinson out there. Why was Tyler Hero not out there? And they had like Ariza and then Iguodala out there as well. I was like, I like those two guys, but spacing out, shooting, you prefer you have your best shooters out there. I was kind of confused by that.
Yeah. I just feel like maybe they had a different, group that they want to go out there with, and we got to see if they had something to do with injuries, obviously. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because game one, it went down to the wire, and it was very, very very interesting. But I want to see how Spoelstra goes about this, because last year was a bit different. I think another thing that played a part, like I said, I felt like Jay Crowder played a huge part. And I just told you, I feel like Jay Crowder will play a huge part in this Lakers and Suns series, which we'll talk about eventually. But now they have a different unit out there, and does Hero seem like, is he the person that's going to be part of it? Because now it seems like with the scoring that Drew Holiday can do, I'm sorry, not Drew Holiday, yeah, the scoring that he can do, how does that impact the unit that they put out there? Because Dragic, Kendrick, now you got all these other guys. Like, this rotation is kind of it could get very similar to how the struggle that the Celtics are having with their guys. So Spoelstra's going to have to find a unit that's going to be able to keep up with this Milwaukee group. It's going to take us some time, but I think, knowing that the game was so close, he decided a different route, and clearly that didn't work.
Yeah. Bam Adebayo did have his best scoring game as well in that game. But I think, they had him, guarding Giannis a good amount of bit that it kind of took away from him his power from scoring. So hopefully Spoelstra, like you mentioned, maybe gets him more involved. Maybe try and, get some of those bigs in foul trouble like Brook Lopez, who had 5 fouls in that game. But kind of get him out of the way earlier. And then maybe they can go to the bench and maybe, get those guys in foul trouble. And maybe, work your way that way in that game. Then you go to the Mavs, Clippers, Luka Doncic. He was killing those dudes. He was.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, I really felt as if looking at the game, it's like they didn't have anything to do. I mean, I can't say they didn't have anything to do. It just seemed as if he can do whatever, that Luka can do whatever he wanted. We'll see how far this goes, but I would say right now, maybe the presence of the Beverly and Trez connection with Lou Williams may play a part. I mean, you remember last year the Clippers did have that unit off the bench that somewhat is like a first-team unit. So it is early, but people obviously got the expectation that the Clippers are going to beat the Mavs. But can we really say that this Clippers team is as good as last year's team? I mean, yeah, you got Serge Ibaka and replace, I guess, a Trez, but that physicality that it brings, that Trez brings, you got Rondo instead of Lou Williams. So Beverly get some foul trouble super early, which cost me some money yesterday. But yeah, I end up making some kind of cash. But this dude plays a little bit more in the first quarter. Who knows how much more I will make? So, but anyway, this Clippers team a little bit more geared towards the Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So we're gonna see how deep they can go. But man, I just feel like this team do have, Lucas is a much improved player than he was last year. So this team has, been together a lot longer. So, or a year longer, for that matter. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. If I'm not mistaken, I believe, tell me if I'm correct, but did the Clippers win last year's first game?
Ooh, shoot.
I mean, I know that's a deep thought, but I believe they did. I'm not mistaken. I'm almost positive they did, because Porzingis missed one game, and Luka got ejected for one of them. So, yeah, it's going to be, kind of interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, watching that game yesterday, Luka just getting there. If he misses like a jump shot, he's in there for the offensive rebound. He was getting there, out hustling those guys. you know, I tweeted from the Fast Break account on Twitter. I tweeted that Porzingis, he gotta be a lot tougher, man. I feel like, you know, he wasn't playing like the best, you know, confidence in himself and not playing tough, and he kind of got bounced around a little bit. And
Yeah.
I just think, you know, he can show up and do more in that instance for them. And, you know, look at the Clippers side of things. I mean, you got 26 points and 23 points for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, respectively. But, God, 9 for 22 for Kawhi Leonard, 1 for 6 for 3-point line, 2 for 8 for 3-point line for Paul George, 8 for 18 shooting for him. I mean, you got nice contributions for Rondo and Batum. But you would need a lot more. You know, Markieff Morris. I mean, he's got to show up more. And, you know, isn't it amazing, D-Lock, that the Clippers are playing about damn near, was about close to $140 million for Morris and Luke Kennard to be key contributors for that team, and none of them, I mean, Morris has contributed pretty decently, but Luke Kennard, he's not even playing anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I guess, with the Clippers, they got a lot of guards too, with, you know, Beverly, Reggie Jackson, and Rondo. They're pretty deep in how they want to make their moves, but now what I mean by deep is they have a lot of rotation players. I don't mean they have the, you know, good bench players to come off. It seems like Luke Kennard has, like you said, completely disappeared. Actually, speaking of making money, I see him in a lineup yesterday where somebody had a very good lineup and they had zero and they didn't cash. So I'm pretty sure that zero hurt them. But at this point, you know, it's like they're trying to squeeze in Serge Ibaka over a lot of minutes and mix him in with Zubac, and then they got Boogie Cousins off the bench. So they got a lot of guys, you know, and it's like they're trying to find that chemistry. Now, we do know in the playoffs that rotation of guys shrinks, right? We don't see the full rotation of guys go out there. They have a number of guys that come off the bench that's going to play with the guys out there. So for me, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know if we see too much of Luke Kennard. Now, the reason why I say that is because I think they're going to put Rondo in front of him, Reggie Jackson in front of him, Zubac in front of him, hell, maybe Boogie, Batum. So, like, they got a lot of guys that they're probably going to rotate in before they even think of putting Luke Kennard out there, because he's probably going to be a person that's going to hurt them defensively. So, I feel like the Clippers just have a lot of pieces, but the problem is they got Mr. Pandemic P over there, and he showed up again. So I don't know. I think they should get past the Mavs, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I still really, really like Luka. I said that last year when we talked about it. I just feel like he's going to play a huge part in, you know, this team moving forward. So I wouldn't expect it to be just a smooth, like, okay, well, a 4-1 type series. I don't know, man. It seems like this team is a luck. The Clippers don't wow me like they did last year. Maybe because this was their first time together last year, so it was kind of like, wow, okay, Kawhi and PG. But this team just doesn't, like, excite me as they did last year. So I really do like I said, I really do like Luka. If Porzingis can stay healthy and do his thing, then they have a pretty decent shot of possibly advancing. But it seems as if, you know, the Clippers didn't want to face the Lakers or whoever they're going to play if they would have won those past couple of games, and this is who they got. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy. And Luka's, he's here now. You know, people question whether he was going to be here. I think he's here now.
I definitely agree. I think Luka is there now. I just one thing I think he got to clean up on. You probably will agree with this. He's got to clean up those technical fouls. He's got to clean those up. I was like, I didn't know he led the league in technical foul. Well, him and Draymond were kind of like neck and neck. I said, wow, man. Like, come on, man. You just 2 years in the league now. Don't build up that reputation for yourself so early. I saw that. I was like, come on, man. Do better. Do better. But I want to shout out the chat real quick. Taryn Rodriguez in the chat. How you doing tonight, sir? Taryn says he has the Clippers in 7, but he won't be surprised if they lost in the first round. No, he said the Mavs are out for revenge after last year. Good point. And then he also followed with this comment. If the Clippers can't win with Rondo, they are straight cursed. And he also brought this point about the Lakers. The Lakers maybe should have kept Rondo and Dwight Howard. Maybe. But we'll get to the Lakers here in a little bit. I may have to circle around to that. I don't know. We'll see. And then real quick, well, the Nets, Celtics. What you thought about the big three last night? Were you impressed, or you thought, expected, or you thought they could have did a little bit more?
I mean, I feel like they started to click a little later.
Yep.
Which is expected. They started to get together. Now, not sure how great their chemistry is. Maybe they're getting to that. I just feel like they think it's going to be a walk through the park. Now, I did tweet this, and I did say about Robert Williams. Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson killed them.
Oh, yes.
He destroyed them, like, their bigs. Like, I'm talking about horribly. So, and that's something that needs to be watched out for, because you're going to find something very similar in other teams down the road. But, I mean, one thing I think this team is going to rely on is if they can shoot or not.
Mm-hmm.
If they miss their shots, they might be in some trouble. So if they miss their shots, we might be talking about, going against the right team. It could be an issue. I told you what I thought about the Celtics. The Celtics are all over the place. There's no other way to say it. Like, it's just, you don't know who's going to do what. And what makes it even worse is the fact that Jaylen Brown is out.
Yep.
So, I don't know what the hell to expect from Kemba. So, things could happen, for the good for them. But they didn't look too bad. But my thing is, they let, like I said, that game that Robert Williams had, you would think there ain't no reason in hell for them to try to trade for Boots now. But that's against, again, the Brooklyn Nets, who give up a lot to centers. So, again, they didn't look too bad. It wasn't too impressive to me. I just want to see how this series goes out. People got them sweeping the Celtics, but man, we'll see. To me, I just want to see them look efficient, and I want to see what happens when they're not efficient. I mean, yeah, they beat the Celtics. Like I said, we don't know, Celtics gonna look good one day, then the next day they're just this team that just don't look interested in playing at all. So, yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how this plays out. But yeah, I mean, they beat the Celtics. Yeah, I mean, it was like, okay, cool. You find a team with a similar defense and that can shoot, then I think they fall into. I think that's when the problem comes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jaylen Brown is sorely missed with this team, and down low, like you mentioned about Tristan Thompson and Robert Williams, they were getting after it. They were hustling. Shout out to Robert Williams. Having 9 blocks in that game, 9 rebounds, almost had a triple-double, in that instance. But, Tatum, I mean, he was 6 for 20. And, when he's taking, And I think this is one thing you got to work on. The step back jumper. If it ain't there, don't do it. And they forced him into that shot a lot in that game, and especially in the second half. That he was just taking bad shots over folks, and it just wasn't good looks. Now for Mr. Don't Tread on Me, Kemba Walker, I expected him to play a little bit better. And you figure with Jaylen Brown being out, I figure like somebody in that starting lineup was trying to pick up the slack and scoring and whatnot. Like, figure somebody like, this is my time to shine. But nobody really kind of pick up that mantle.
Nope. And this is the problem. Like, this is the reason why I say I do not know what to expect from them. Now, obviously, we know who the guys on that team are. We know Jason Tatum's going to be that guy. But, look, Jaylen Brown is missing. And it's just like, what the hell are they doing? Like, I'm kind of lost at that, with such high expectation with so many guys. To me, it's so bad that as much as bad as stuff we've been seeing how Kyrie has been acting, like, it's just to the point to where it's like, well, damn, was Kyrie right for leaving? Like, that's how terrible, like, the Celtics are right now, like, in planning. Like, it just, I don't know what's going on with them. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to, put the pieces together and figure that out. But, yeah, you're right.
And then, you throw out Jarabi Parker out there trying to, guard Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant just had, the few times he guarded him, Kevin Durant just had a damn field day with him. I was like, get this dude out the game. I like Jarabi Parker, but it's like, he shouldn't be getting time in this series against these type of players. This is like, if you get in a bad switch with Harden or Durant or Kyrie, then you might as well just chalk up the points right there. And then for the Brooklyn side of things, the ball movement, especially in the second half, got really good. The big three guys got their points. I feel like at times Harden could have scored a little bit more because he had some good looks, but he kind of passed it off for another look. But you mentioned about the defense and stuff like that. If they get past this series against the Celtics, I think one thing coaching-wise Steve Nash has to look into, I know they saw Blake Griffin for this game, but I think Nicholas Claxton down low, it would be a better fit for them defensively going down the line.
He's a underestimated player, very underestimated.
He kind of changed the dynamic a little bit for the team. You kind of sense a different type of feel with the team when he's in there compared to Blake Griffin, because you know what you get from Blake Griffin, and Blake Griffin wasn't the best defensive player, during his, height of his, peak athleticism. But, I'm sitting here watching the Knicks game against the Hawks. You're going against the Knicks team, Blake Griffin ain't the toughest down low. And we know the Knicks, if they get past the Hawks, they got some Rough Riders on that team. I just, thinking, if you match up with the Knicks, you're going to need another Rough Rider to go contend with them. Now you're going to wake up.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Is the Knicks, they're that physical team that they have out. And you tell me what you think about it. So I feel like the Knicks have a little bit more consistent shooters than the Celtics. That's a tough.
Oh, they do.
Debate. But it's just, I don't know when Kemba is going to show up. It's different if we're talking about Jaylen Brown. but he's not there. So like, it's hard to say. Yeah, like, hell, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna make a huge difference. He's not there. They're sticking on Jason Tatum, but Jason Tatum, as we know, Michael Jordan and Kobe can't do it on their own. So we can't even, and he's not even in the class with them.
Yeah.
So how do you go about that? Like, it just, for me, the Knicks have, Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, who can shoot somewhat. Derrick Rose, who's gonna come off the bench and play like a madman. Like, they got these guys, and they're gonna play physical defense. They cause problems. They were just getting blew out by the Hawks earlier, and they're up by 4.
And right now, and it's looking at it right now. They battling right now. They hustling to the ball.
Yes. That remember, they were down. This is why I love Tom Thibodeau. So for me, like, the Nets would struggle against something like this, because you would think that you're just gonna, put this team away. Nah, teams don't play like that. So that's gonna cause big problems. And let's not sleep on Nerlens Noel. I think he's a hell of a player too. I think he can play a valid piece as well. So I don't think the Nets want to see them now. That clearly we're talking about the Nets, who have so many high expectations with Kyrie, James Harden, KD. Like, that's probably one of the most dominant big three we've seen in like forever. So, understand that it's going to have high expectations that go along with it. But to me, I really think that they have to get this together, man. Like, dude, Robert Williams had 7 blocks yesterday?
No, I think it was 9.
Okay, I forgot. I guess I last checked. He had 7 blocks. It's going insane. So, if you go to a team that's just a little bit more consistent, dude, like, it's gonna cause major problems. The Knicks are on the 15-3 run right now. So understand that you get a team. This is about heart. I don't know if, like, what happens when a team shows that up against the Nets? Like, how are they gonna act? How are they gonna respond? The Celtics, man, like, they don't have any, like, that team is like I said, they're all over the place. It's just like it's a little more difficult for them than anybody else. So yeah, it's gonna be, like I said, I think it could be problems for them. But I mean, give them credit, they did what they did against the Celtics.
Yeah, I think I think the Celtics may squeeze out one game. I think it probably take a combination of like Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum having their best games, but I just think, between Harden, KD, and Kyrie, and then if you get a nice hot hand from like a Joe Harris, and then Jeff Green, having a Jeff Green type of game, then you probably kiss the series goodbye. And watching the Knicks game right now, Lou Williams just hit a 3-pointer to bring it between 2.
Yeah.
So this Atlanta New York game going down to the wire here and going to the fourth quarter. So we'll see how this game plays out here along the broadcast. But last but not least, D-Lock. Blazers, Nuggets. Jokic had a great game. Michael Porter had a great thing. But you mentioned about Damian Lillard. When it kind of time to step up, he steps up. And he played great yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Dame is one of a kind. He literally, like I said, at this point, this dude just... I'm looking at some of the shots he making, bro, and I'm just like, there's no way he's making these, like, back to back to back like this. Like, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So for me, I just... Like, it's amazing to see that he never was really in the MVP like conversation in all of his like career like that.
that's a tough thing to get into, but dang.
I just think, well, for the MVP talks, I just think it's kind of hard that, I don't know, during this time their team never been, well, I just think other guys kind of has outshined them in a sense. Or we gave players ever shine and stuff like that. You know, we'll give Russell Westbrook his praise and stuff. You know, getting triple doubles and all that stuff. We'll give CP3 praise for leading his team and whatnot. You know, throw some other players in there as well. And sometimes, you know, Dame just kind of one of those guys. He's going to be one of those guys in history that kind of just slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
You know, we just, you know, we see him over the course of time in the history of the NBA. Very great player, future Hall of Famer, but one of those guys, you know, should got some more pub than you know, more than some other guys that really done jack crap.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody to do so much as he had, another thing to watch out for them is the fact that Nurkic is playing out of his mind. Carmelo just came out of nowhere, you know, in Denver. I mean, kind of something that was kind of not necessarily expected, but being the fact he is going against his old team, you would think he would do something. Same thing actually with Nurkic. So for me, but Dame he's outstanding. But the fact is, he did say, remember, he did come out and say that he's not going to leave like everybody else is. He's going to stay in Portland. And, you know, he wants to win the championship there. Now, it's not going to be easy by a long stretch. Hell, even when LeBron is done in L.A., I think he's still going to find different issues in different spots. But Dame is Dame, man. And got to never change. But I love to watch his game, though.
Oh yeah, he came in. I mean, he played excellent, and I think there's one thing. I think, you know, if Portland's gonna win the series, with Jamal Murray being out with torn ACL, you got to take advantage of that spot, that point guard spot right there against Denver. You have to. You know, they got Monty Morris, they got Austin Rivers, they got the I forgot the other guy's name, Campazzo, wherever his name is.
Oh, Capazio.
Capazio, yeah. Sorry, I apologize if you listen out there. Sorry, but you just gotta take advantage of those three guys, playing against those three guys, and if you do that, kind of held those guys in check. Guys, I mean, Joker's gonna get his. I mean, he had 34 and 16 and 1 assist, which is kind of a surprise. But
yeah,
if he, I mean, let him get his, kind of shut down the other guys. I mean, Michael Porter, granted, he had 25 points, but he just 1 for 10 for 3-point land, which is kind of egregious, and he shouldn't do that again. But you know, here we are. But like I said, take advantage. If Portland is going to win that series, and for Terry Stotts to hang on to his job, you got to attack that guard spot. Got to.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's going to be a huge spot on the Nuggets. Like Eric Gordon, like the Nuggets have a nice little roster. It's just, you know, a couple that with Jamal Murray out. You know, they got the rotation guys too. Denver do. I forgot the rookie's name. He's been playing pretty solid for Denver. I can't think of his name right now. Let me double check and see. I think he played very well. He's playing outstanding off the bench.
Marcus Howard.
Yeah. He's playing pretty good. Now they can cause issues, but I think that any team right now in the West, they would rather play the Nuggets than the Trailblazers.
they had to pick. I feel like they are a lot put together, being the fact that Jamal Murray is out. But don't be surprised if the Nuggets could slightly pull something off. But Michael Porter is playing outstanding as well too.
So, I think I got Portland winning this series. I think they're winning 7. In my eyes, I think Jokic wins some games, but I think Portland. Like I said, they got to take advantage of that guard spot if they're going to advance to the next round. Then we transition to today's games. Sixers, Wizards. A nice back and forth game for the most part. Bradley Beal had 33 points. Russ had 16 points, 14 rebounds. 14 assists and 5 rebounds. But it wasn't enough against Philly, who had 30 points for Joel Embiid, 15 assists, 15 rebounds, and 6 points by Ben Simmons. But 37 by Tobias Harris. That's the big one right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tobias played out of his mind. Actually, one of the guys I went to school with, I hung out with today. We both went to the University of Tennessee, and Tobias was only a freshman when we were there. So we were just watching it and just like, yeah, this is the same guy that was over at Ball Hall. So, but yeah, man. I mean, I was expecting a little bit more from Joel Embiid too, but I forgot they got Dwight Howard over there, so their rotation is a hell of a lot easier. But the Sixers did play pretty solid too. I was not expecting to be that close.
I think if the Wizards, and I saw this stat on Twitter that somebody I brought up against the Wizards. David Bertans got paid pretty handsomely in the offseason by $84 million. When the guy, I saw the tweet, I wish I saved the tweet and whatever, but he brought this entry point. He shot, for all the games he played, shot 38% from 3-point line this year. That was way below some guys that I want to consider to shoot higher than him, percentage-wise. Now, for today, he shot 4 for 8. Not bad. Mm-hmm. But I think for them to succeed, you're going to get from Russ and Bill. But I think for the other guys, like Huchamara, Bertans, you need a little bit more. In my eyes.
Definitely do I agree with you too on that. You need that from a guy, especially, against a team that plays great defense.
And, if you get something from Ish Smith and Neto, Raul Neto, great. But, I think talent-wise and coaching-wise, I think Philly should win this out. I think they should sweep them, in my eyes.
Yeah. I think that Joel Embiid is due for a game at some point. Let's just say that. He's going to have one. Just depends on when. He's going to have one of those games where he goes 35-15 or 20-20 or something like that. So it's bound to happen. It's just when.
And then, like I said, shout out to Ben Simmons having, a great game by him. And people complaining about, that he didn't score enough. We kind of know what Ben Simmons is now. He is what he is.
Yep.
So, if you're expecting, 35 points along with the 15 rebounds, 15 assists, then I don't know what to say to you. But he played great. George Hill off the bench had 11 points. Dwight Howard, played pretty well coming off. So, I think Philly's all right. As long as you getting good points from Harris and Embiid, and having good shooting nights from Curry and Green, I think you're good for. I think you'd be good if you're feeling.
Yeah, it should be fine. I mean, I don't think it'll be a big deal. I mean, like I said, the weakness for the Wizards is the big man, so I definitely expect to see Joel Embiid take over at some point. We are talking about one of the MVP candidates.
And then we get to the Lakers. D-Lock, I watched this game. I saw the crowd. A lot of folks there. And I first thought that maybe the adrenaline will wear down for Phoenix and the Lakers may pull through. But that didn't happen. And I don't know if you noticed this in these playoff games or not. The mid-range scoring has been kind of a key factor in things. I know a lot of these teams play like long ball and stuff like that, but in some instances, if your mid-range game ain't hitting, and some of these scores and stuff like that, it can go a long way how it affects the game and stuff like that.
Correct.
But Bomani Jones on Twitter made an excellent point by Anthony Davis, and I tweeted this out as well. It feels like one of those Anthony Davis games that he ain't motivated, and some reason or another he ain't want to rebound worth a damn. I mean, yeah, he may have 7 rebounds, but it felt like it should have been more. And you had DeAndre Ayton just beating his butt to the ball every chance he got. 16 rebounds for DeAndre Ayton, 10 for 11 shooting for 21 points. I mean, it seemed like, AD wasn't motivated to play. And he got out hustled and out played down low.
Yeah, that physicality. Definitely seen a difference in that. For me, did this need to be a reality check? Because
For Anthony Davis specifically, some other players, because, I know I seen earlier, I think it was Chris Bouchard, I seen the YouTube of him saying that the Suns have no chance in beating the Lakers. So I'm pretty sure the Suns, everybody in the front office, the team, everybody, coaches, seen that and definitely took that as a motivational thing. You can't lose games in these playoffs like that. You get too far behind, teams will take advantage and pull away. Now, we talked about it a little bit before the show, like, the Lakers need another shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the shooters are just not efficient. Now I say this, because of the fact that they are very, very deep depth in bigs, it'd be a great matchup for them against the Nets. The Nets, if you ask me, they can dominate them down low, but they have to get to that. These two teams have to match up, and I don't know when or how it's going to get like that right now. It's going to be kind of interesting. Obviously, we got series to go before we even get to that far, but the Suns are giving them matchup problems. We talked about Miami earlier. Jay Crowder is playing a huge piece over there in Phoenix, just like he did in Miami last year. I think he's a great defensive player, and he's doing those things that make teams struggle. So they're going to have to wake up. AD is going to have to play a huge part, and obviously we see what kind of team they are when he is on his A game. and see how that plays. But he's gonna definitely have to wake up and show that he's serious and what he can do.
Some people, I think that's how Mark Stein brought up this that going back to I think last year playoffs in the bubble that what's his name? What the Blazers and the Rockets beat the Lakers in the first game they matches, but they end up losing the series.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that stat, but it's like I think there's a clear difference, stark contrast between both of these teams. You got a Laker team that's the 7th seed, a Laker team that barely won against the play-in tournament game against the Warriors. Barely won.
Mm.
And it was for key plays by LeBron. They would probably be in that 8th seed spot, which I think kind of would be in a better matchup, Miles, since Donovan Mitchell ain't playing tonight. But you win that game, then you're going against a very, very improved Suns team, like you mentioned about the Suns. You brought up. They got great wing defenders. They got guys that can hang with you on the wing. Miles Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cameron Johnson, Torian Craig. Those guys can hang with you on the wing. Then you throw in the fact that Booker had 34 points in that game. Played very excellent. And then that's all she wrote. And it felt like every time the Lakers trying to make a comeback, Phoenix, will shoot the ball shoot the ball well, and this kind of push the lead back to double digits.
Yep, that's exactly what they got within it, and then the Lakers got within, and then the Suns let them know, okay, we're the better team, and that plays a part in Chris Paul being that leader.
And then I think for the next game for the Lakers, your guys got hit the open shots. KCP got hit his open shots. 1 for 7 for 3-point land. Anthony Davis, same thing. Hit his open shots. Kuzma, damn near non-existent today. He's got to step up. Wes Matthews, 0 for 3 for 3-point land. He got to shoot better. Caruso, 2 for 4 for 3-point land, but he had some open looks that he should have hit. If they're going to win, they got to hit those open shots. If not, they're going to be in world of hurt.
Oh, yeah. Them shots. But see, that's that consistency that I was talking about, with the shots. So, it depends on how who's gonna be that guy? Is KCP gonna step up? Then McElroy can come off the bench, start making the shots. Is Dennis Schroeder gonna start shooting? Like, it's gonna be somebody got to do something, man. And I know in the past the Suns have given up a lot to point guards, so point guards kind of eat on them a little bit. So maybe Schroeder does do a stepping up a little bit.
So we'll see how things go for the next matchup between these two teams. And then now we'll kind of transition quickly to the game going on live. The Hawks and Knicks. Wow, a lot of celebrities there for the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
I saw, what's his name? Jon Stewart. I saw Tracy Morgan, Spike Lee, of course. And it seemed like Nerlens Noel just got hurt.
Yeah, he did.
On non-contact play, which they cannot lose him at all.
Nope. Well, they're going to, like Taj Gibson's going to start playing a bigger role. But, yeah, the Nets, Knicks, There's a lot of people there, man. They showing all of them every time. Every time, the Knicks get a score or a block or something, they're showing every celebrity or somebody. I done seen Tracy Morgan at least 2 or 3 times on TV in the past couple minutes.
So yeah, I mean, and then going to the chat real quick, Terrence saying next game is crucial for the Lakers, but it's not over. But it's not over if they lose game 2. He also mentioned they should have traded for Kyle Lowry.
Ooh, I can agree.
It's kind of seemed like maybe they should have pulled that trigger on that.
But it depends on what they would have to give up for him too. Like, it depends on what they would have to give up, because we are not seeing that much of Trez right now. Like, Schroeder clearly looks like he's trying to show that he's trying to make a lot of money in his next contract.
He just got offered a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. Even with that, it's like, did you see him, like, literally, I think, against the Warriors, like, trying to take over the game, trying to make this everything was under him, and it was not playing well. So for me, like, he's gonna have to be the person that step up big time. But that trade for Lowry probably could have made a big difference.
And well, for the Lakers, according to reports, they didn't want to give up Horton Tucker in that deal.
Yeah,
I think that's one.
That's all LeBron right there.
So that was like one big hiccup for them. And then Shorter was going to be included in that deal as well, because they offered him a contract extension, but he turned it down. I think it was like 4 years, $84 million, and he turned that down.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dog, you said unless you think you get something else elsewhere, Knicks. But I just don't know. I was like, kind of like in a nice situation.
Yeah, at that point, I mean, in LA, you're going to be one of the people that are going to lead the charge when LeBron leaves. You're going to probably be tag teamed up with AD. Take that contract and go with. But at the same time, maybe he's thinking that they win NBA Finals, he can get more money. So you just never know. I've never been in a position where I can turn down $80 million. Hey, maybe he knows something that we do not know.
I mean, yeah, that could be it, but damn.
I know.
I mean, if you look around the league, I mean, there's a couple teams that that could throw him more money, maybe, but you don't want to, And we kind of talked about this like a month ago, with our very own Adam Karnick brought up, about Chicago and stuff like that, and we kind of look at the free agency guard list. We got Lonzo in restricted free agency. Schroeder, he'd be a free agent. Kyle Lowry, same boat as well. Chris Paul, he has a player option, which I think he may accept that to stay with the Suns. And there's a couple. And there was a couple over.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a couple other names I forgot, but I mean, take out Chris Paul, you dealing with those other guys. We'll see how things go. I mean, I know Lowry ain't gonna get no big long-term deal because he's already in his mid-30s.
Yeah. Chris Paul ain't turning down no money, man.
No.
He gonna pick up every penny he can. As they say, every crumb he can get, he gonna get. You ain't got to worry about him not leaving $1. If it's $10 on the ground, he walk by, he gonna turn around and pick it up. So he gonna opt in on that. So it's a lot of guys out there though, and the thing is that maybe he's trying to make more money somewhere else. We do know that the lights are big in LA with the Lakers, so maybe that plays a part, but. We'll see. Also, the Lakers are gonna make moves during the off season, but you would think he would already be, kind of locked in with them before that comes around.
So, Yeah, we'll see how things shake out for the Lakers. And then, geez, Julius Randle's 5 for 20 for the field for the Knicks, and this missed yeah, and he just missed a free throw right there. So tight game right now for the Knicks. We'll see how the rest of this game plays out. But I do want to talk about this subject here tonight, D-Lock, before we get out of here. Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown has been on the news here for the past week. And his name got brought up when the controlling owner of the Lakers, Jeanie Buss, was on the All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. The subject of Kwame Brown got brought up, but I think it wasn't discussed too much, but, you know, it was just enough that it kind of brought Mr. Brown in the forefront, and he kind of had enough. Now, mind you, doing this research before going on the show, apparently he has had a YouTube channel for quite some time. Talking about various different things and all that type of stuff. So, he's kind of been out there, but nobody's, you know, paying attention to him, you know, out of sight, out of mind, all that type of stuff. Well, D-Lock, Mr. Brown, he's one colorful character, I can just say that. I ain't think, you know, he had this in him. Now, well, I'll let you go first. Like, what were your feelings of his comments about Jackson and Barnes, and then kind of like towards other folks as well? Is it like is it too much, or is it justified for him because he, you know, kind of held his stuff in for a very long time? What are your thoughts on the whole subject matter?
Well, we got to talk. First of all, we got to talk about the fact that, you know, Kwame Brown was, you know, he went in the league, 2001, projected to be like, it was 17, I believe, like that, something like that. Considered to be, you know, supposed to have been one of the better players to ever get drafted. You know, went to, was it the Wizards at the time?
Yeah, the Wizards, yep.
You know, Michael Jordan had something to do with being in the front office, and he was this guy, and it's like Kwame Brown didn't live up to those expectations to a lot of guys. That's what they believe. First of all, how long he played in the league? About 13 years?
Yep.
13, 14 years? I would say that he lived up to somewhat a pretty decent expectation. Now, clearly, you know, you go number one overall, your expectations are a lot higher than just being lasting in the league. But he was supposed to be one of the, you know, guys that just was supposed to be unstoppable, or, you know, supposed to turn the franchise around. And that didn't happen with him. That ended up not being his game. You know, and not him. You know, he's more so of that, you know, pick and roll type player. You get under the rim, you grab the boards, and you put it back in the hoop, you grab boards quick, get you a couple blocks or whatever. So he wasn't what everybody wanted, and that stuck for the moments. I mean, hell, there's jokes even to this day where people are talking about the fact that, you know, oh, you know, he's not going to be another Kwame Brown. So much was talked about with this guy. He made his YouTube channel, you know, and started to do his thing. But it's like, in a sense, he had enough. That's just what it was. And the thing about it is, this was a chance for him to just, you know, he was just talking his talk, you know, feeling how he was feeling, and, you know, they went on. It was Barnes and who else?
Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson. went on there and just talked about dude, and after that, it's like he was fed up, man. And he just got to the point to where he wanted to speak his piece and defend himself, and that's what he did. So, at this point, now he went basically super low. Just start throwing shots and start talking about their personal lives and things that was going on. So, for me, it was like he was over it. He was literally over it, and he went off, man. And the thing about it is, how can I be mad at him for doing that? Because, dude, like, he been like the joke of the NBA for the past like 10 to 15 years. But like, every time somebody talk about somebody getting drafted or expectations, they always have that. It's like him and Jamarcus Russell was in the same category.
Yep.
Like, oh, y'all was supposed to be this, and you had so many high expectations, and you didn't do this. So because of that, it's just like they took more heat than anybody. Anybody. So now, now everybody just putting these jokes. They got these podcasts talk about it. Clearly, the podcast is getting a lot of people. Probably got related to him some kind of way, and he expressed how he felt, and he just took it all the way down. So for me, obviously it was some harsh words that was said, but clearly we see why. This is like him speaking out over like 10 years. He finally shot back at somebody that was coming for him. So something that was very tough, I'm sure, but he just got tired of it. So and then like I think one big thing that he did say was the fact that he was able to get his mom a house at like 18 or 19. So, to a lot of people, who look up to their parents, who want to take care of their parents, that's like huge. So the fact that he was able to do that was something that, people don't want to just overlook. And, after a guy says something like that, it's like, all right, in a sense, damn, he did kind of make it. He did kind of do what he was supposed to do. So, very interesting. And to be honest, I don't think it's over, man. It's going to be more talked about. He's going to say more and more things. People are still going to talk.
For me, I look at it a couple ways in this way. I think he never. I commend him this. He finally, using his voice to say something. I'll give him that. And big shot by Julius Randle right there. But
very big.
I think one of the reasons why he didn't really speak up during his time in the league, probably because he didn't want to rock the boat and like hurt his chance of making money. I think there's a saying out there like college isn't for everybody, and I think maybe, just maybe, he could. Probably don't want to go back to college, and maybe it's like the best way he can make money. If I do well enough to make money and don't rock the boat, kind of humble myself, I should be okay. And he probably held that in. And some of the videos I've seen, he talked about, being injured, playing injured, and stuff like that. He talked about when Kobe, I think he had like a 60-point game or something like that. And, Kobe went up to Kwame and said, hey, big man, I know you hurt with I think Kwame said he had like a foot or ankle or foot injury and shoulder injury that he needed surgery on. But he decided to play through it when he was with the Lakers. And, Kobe said, hey, I know you hurt, big man, but if you do these little things for me, hey, we'll be straight. And then, Kwame went out and did the damn thing, did what he was asked to do. And, when you talk about that, that's why I got the sense that he never really wanted to rock the boat during that time in his league and stuff like that. I mean, I know people in the past talk about that Paul Gasol trade and stuff like that. He was the key piece in that trade in a sense. I mean, yeah, granted, they got his brother Mark in that trade, and he became the big deal of it and stuff like that. But
your boy Spike Lee going crazy right now.
no.
I had to say
And look at Tracy Morgan cabbage patching. Oh, snap. Look,
there's
Nick,
only one game. They got a whole series.
Nick fans are back, baby. They back. But, and Terry, I'll get to Stephen A. Smith here in a second. I'm glad you brought him up. At the time when that trade was discussed, yeah, Stephen A. Smith, I think, really kind of solidified himself in the mainstream media. Talk about Kwame Brown in that instance, in that trade, discussing that trade, in that segment on ESPN News. He did, and I kind of hate how once Stephen A. Smith's, who has the smoke for everybody else, among NBA circles, is like a rat, about as quiet as a rat pissing on cotton. In regards to what Kwame Brown said about him, I was kind of flabbergasted because I saw the clip with him on Keyshawn and Jay Williams' show that he did a couple days ago. And Stephen A. sends that passing the buck. Like, well, I wasn't one to talk about Kwame Brown. Tim Legler and Greg Anthony said some things too. I was like, dude, this deal, like, I don't know if you noticed that, but you can go on YouTube and look, and ladies and gentlemen, same thing. Y'all look as well. There are videos of Stephen A. Smith when asked about Kwame Brown at different speaking events. He talks about the man. He talks about the man. And I understand Kwame not speaking out against Michael Jordan because, let's be real, Michael Jordan's kind of like Teflon in a sense in basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you do against him, in a sense? But in the videos I saw about Kwame, he brought up about Adam Morrison. We aren't on his neck, not succeeding in the league. You brought up Jamarcus Russell in the NFL. Yeah, things didn't go out so well, but hell, look over the years, other busts and stuff like that. Hell, look at my Tennessee Titans. Isaiah Wilson.
Yep.
That fool only played about 5 snaps, and he's out the league. Already. 5 snaps, D-Lock. And this is like going back to last year, during the summer. This fool was at TSU about to jump out the second balcony so he won't get caught, smoking weed and stuff like that. That's kind of like, when I saw like that rapper jump off that 5-story hotel and killing himself because he didn't want to get caught, see his wife getting caught. But for some reason, though, we kind of stuck on Kwame for some odd reason. Why? I don't know. Hell, we don't get on Joe Smith like this. We don't get on Purvis Ellison like this. And you looking at draft at that time. International players were kind of like unknown in a sense. Still kind of unknown at that time. Tony Parker, Pau Gasol, for example. Granted, yes, they'll be future Hall of Famers, but we don't know too much about them. Granted, yeah, Joe Johnson went 10, but, I don't think nobody going to pick him no more overall at that time. So, and of course, he had Tyson Chandler and stuff like that. But it's just like, the guy stayed in the league for 13 years. He made his money. You know, we don't get into other, draft picks and stuff like that in the NBA like we did this guy for some odd reason. Okay, things didn't work out. It happens, and I don't know why. In sports in general, that we place these hefty expectations on these guys to come out this kind of to save the team, to put the cape on and save the team. I think it's got to be for everybody from the top all the way down. If you don't get, and we talked about this in the past, if you don't get the infrastructure at top and ownership and trickles on down, then you're not going to succeed.
Nah.
Whereas football, like your Bucks, got some nice management there, got a great coaching staff with Bruce Arians and crew, and then look where y'all at now. Super Bowl champs. I mean, you brought everybody back in the fold to go repeat. My Titans. Once what's his name? Bud Adams, finally kicked the bucket. They finally figured out the ownership situation with Andy Adams drunk. Hired John Robinson to the fold. Hadn't lose a season since. So, to kind of make that guy like the poster child, the worst #1 pick of all time, is this kind of?
Oh my God!
I saw that. Why they taking 3-pointers? Why they taking 3-pointers? What they doing? Oh, Derrick Rose, you saved him.
That's why. Yeah, I'm probably a little ahead of you. Yeah. What? Where's Spike Lee at?
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's how you know this is live.
But also, D-Lock, go back to the first round, that first overall picks. Anthony Bennett.
Ain't did nothing.
I
don't even know where the hell he at right now.
I think he's playing somewhere overseas, but he ain't nowhere to be found. Hasheem Thabeet, second overall pick for Memphis. Didn't do diddly squat. Greg Oden. Yeah, I know he's injured, but I mean, a bust is a bust. It didn't work out. I hate to say that about the guy. He's a real nice guy, but it didn't work out. Markelle Fultz. We'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see how things shake out for him, but time will tell. But circle back to Kwame, I'll put a bow on this. I know Gilbert Arenas said he won't talk about him, and thank goodness, because Gil sometimes could be his own worst enemy, saying stupid stuff. We've seen that in the past. And I know when Gilbert Arenas didn't really want to talk bad about Kwame, a light bulb kind of went out my head, in a sense. Is that okay? If this clown didn't want to say something about Kwame, then I don't know why the other guy edged him on. Now, for the personal attacks, D-Lock, I don't know.
He took it all the way there, too.
I don't know.
That man's Trae Young is ridiculous.
I think I probably am a few seconds behind you. Oh, shit. Look at that. God dog. Oh, he talking crap, too. Ooh, boy, he talking crap to that New York crowd. Ooh, we talking big stuff.
I don't know what kind of defense that was. He flew right past him.
Oh, he sure did.
And that was double team too.
Yep. But going to what I'm saying, the personal attacks, I don't know. It's hard to say. By the Matt Barnes and Derek Fisher thing, when you talk about that, I don't know. I think we kind of like praised Matt Barnes going driving down to trying to beat up on Derek Fisher. We thought that was funny. I don't know. It's kind of a hard thing to really gauge. Because some things we think is funny, but in the other instance, this guy doing his attacks, and then you're like, whoa, he's doing too much. I really can't say. It's hard to say what he shouldn't speak and what not to speak.
Mm-hmm.
He's been harboring this stuff in the chamber for a very long time. Now, for those,
he basically went in and said it's like he went in because it seemed like he felt as if this was his chance to just speak on how he felt, and he just, like I said, it felt like it was built up, and he was just ready to unleash it.
And the bully, and the guy getting bullied finally had his chance to speak, and and nope, air ball. And the Atlanta Hawks have won the game, 107-105, ladies and gentlemen. Trae Young hit the final shot. Trae Young talking smack to the New York crowd. So,
Bulls are like about to cry like it's over with. It's only one game.
Oh, you talking about the dude with his hat backwards?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dang, he about to go cry in the subway.
I'm trying to tell you.
Like, dog, calm down. I like this. Calm down.
Only one game, bro.
Calm down, dog. That's when you know Knicks fans are back. They crying after one game. Calm down.
After one game, already, bro. They already trying to hang it up already.
But I finished with Kwame with this. I think and there's other people he has talked about as well in the past few days as well. Jamel Hill, Rachel Nichols, Charlamagne the God, DJ Envy, who after a couple years ago, he was a punk for that stuff that he did, but that's another subject for another day. But those guys got brought up, as well. And it feels like D-Lock. I don't know if you probably saw this or not, but it feels like if anybody want to try to tell him what not to do and stuff like that, he's gonna come at you at full force.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. He ain't playing no games. If you go after him, be prepared for him to come back.
And I think for those people, or whoever's going to decide to speak up on him or talk about that situation with him, if I was y'all, I just wouldn't say anything. Let him get his words out, and then maybe he'll just go back to do what he was doing. But
yeah, at that point, if he come out for you, if he say something, he definitely finna come for your neck. He ain't gonna make it easy. Nothing. Ain't gonna be nothing. He finna come for your heart.
But yeah, before we get off the air, I know we kind of run long, but we got a little time here today. We talked about this last year. With talking about the Bulls documentary, and Jerry Krause trained Scottie Pippen for Tracy McGrady, out of high school. Tracy McGrady. Kind of see how things played out with Kwame and Michael at Washington. Would that situation would have worked in Chicago with McGrady and Michael? Maybe, maybe not. What you think?
Tracy McGrady in Chicago with Michael Jordan. I don't think so. two similar players. I don't think so. I just think that they were so similar that they just couldn't. The mesh wouldn't have worked. The reason why LeBron and D Wade can work is because LeBron is an assist man. Like, he's not looking to take over a game. You know, that's not his MO, right? The reason why Steph and Clay kind of can click is because Clay is not really trying to take over a game. You know, or when they do, or either one of them take over the game, the other will sit back there and just be like, okay, cool. You know, you go ahead and do your thing. I get my 28 points, and let you get your 60. You know, this is the reason why that works. Now, there's still in question what's going to happen with the Nets now, because we do know that these guys like to take over games, but I don't think they work. The reason why is just because you're in a sense now where both of these guys, Tracy McGrady and Michael Jordan, even though Tracy McGrady was just more so of a scorer than a shooter to me. I just feel like the space on the floor of both would not have worked. It wouldn't have worked to me. I feel like it would have tried to make something work. It would have just been like very, very hard. Then now you're kind of breaking the team for both of these guys to have their way. Not in my idea. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think, Michael probably did the best thing and kind of nixed that type of deal and kept Scottie aboard. Because, like I said, I couldn't see it fit at that time and what they were trying to accomplish and stuff like that, and the construction of the team and stuff like that. I get it from Jerry Krause trying to keep the team intact but kind of rebuild on the fly. And then, look at the situation in Washington. Kwame said, they had a draft day trade for him to go to Chicago for Elton Brand. Which I'm kind of curious how that team would have looked and stuff like that with a Rip Hamilton, Elton Brand, and then you bring along like Gilbert Arenas and stuff like that. I'm kind of curious how that team would look along with Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. That'd be real interesting. Yeah. I kind of looking at it now like why they didn't do that deal. But anyways, for Kwame, hey, I guess, for him, I think I'm glad he spoke up and said something. And when he spoke up and said something, everybody kind of, didn't have a rebuttal too much to say. And I think, says a lot about some of the folks in the media and stuff like that. That if you go at these folks hard enough, they'll back down. Kind of like Chris Bosh going on First Take 3 years ago, and, trying to tell Skip Bayless, hey man, you gonna talk about me like that years ago. And Skip Bayless, I say, I respect the Bosh name and blah 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 blah. No, you stuff like this, you got to nip in the bud. I think, like I mentioned before, Kwame kind of played the cards pretty smart. Because if he would kind of say the stuff when he's playing, I think people probably dismissed it. Now, he's not playing, and stuff like that. And he can, go off and say what he says and not, be in trouble about it. He made all that money. He's getting his pension from the NBA for playing all those years. Life is good for him. In a sense. So.
Do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. We'll just see how long this carries out. And, what happens down the line. You know, I seen like one story that Charlamagne the God put out a cease and desist letter because Kwame brought up, you know, Charlamagne's situation years ago. You know, that he had. So we'll see how things go. You know,
Kwame gonna be Kwame right now. It seems like he just opening up. He just going crazy, man. At this point, anytime somebody bring him up, best believe he gonna let them have it. So, like you said, it would be wise for a lot of people to, if you do come and throw shots at him, just know he coming at you full-fledged. He ain't wasting no time. Like, he gonna let you know exactly how he feel. You know, he may know something about you that you didn't think he knew. You know, so and I can't be mad at him for that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And thank you for tuning tonight with us, ladies and gentlemen. I know we went over a little bit, and I know we had to talk about the Kwame Brown situation. We had to.
Yeah, we had to drop that. That man going for people next.
Yeah, that's something that couldn't be hold off with all the playoff action. It couldn't be held off for another week. So we had to talk about that here tonight. But thank you for tuning in tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please do follow us on Twitter at Fastbreak at IESR. That's Fastbreak IESR. We've been tweeting nonstop about the playoffs. The New York Knicks had lost against the Atlanta Hawks tonight by 2 points after a Trae Young game-winning layup. So that game's in the books. Then you got the main event game tonight, Utah-Memphis. So we're seeing how that game plays out without Donovan Mitchell playing for Utah. All that good jazz. But, no pun intended. But, D-Lock, how can the people find you on social media?
You guys definitely find me at Blight-813. I definitely will be tweeting about different games, especially during the playoffs. Let them know they can find you at, man.
You can find me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That is Spawn4288. Also, I do another podcast on the side called Name the Crooks Process. You can find it on Instagram and Facebook. Give me a like and follow on there. And then show you the link to the website for the podcast. I did past few video podcasts. I talked about the passing of Paul Mooney, the NFL draft, just to talk about the first round. And then I did my Alabama Crimson Tide basketball review. So those 3 episodes are out. Latest episodes are out. Please do check them out. Also, do follow IE Sports Radio on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Please do give us a follow on there. Also, check out the website. Check out the playback on this show, especially about the last 30 minutes of us talking about Kwame Brown and the whole dynamic of his speaking out in a sense. The NBA playoffs tipping off. We're talking about this. You know, we talk about the Knicks and Hawks game in real time. So check out the playback on this when it drops, and we be back here next week. Talk more playoffs and possibly the NBA awards race. And thank God for the chat jumping in, talking with us during the whole broadcast. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.